Good morning, evening, afternoon. I am Tatocat. Welcome to my channel. Today we are playing Echoes, a Lucid9 fan game. Previously with these this series, I had a webcam, but it fell right before I started recording, and I'm quite honestly too lazy to put it back up. So these next few episodes will not have one. Previously in the game, Rui talked about bar crawls and stuffs like that, and we learned a little more about the game. We discovered a cool new thingamabobby over here. I haven't gotten a chance to listen to all the stuffs in it. And now there's an important call, and I guess we're gonna have like our first mission type thing, which I'm very excited about. So let's get started. And with that, vehement, there we go, utterance of absolute idiosyncrasy, the transmission cuts off. Suppose I shouldn't have been expecting clear-cut detail from a man who spends all day in a lab cultivating his neck beard like it's a fucking bonsai tree. Oh yeah, this apparently is Rui's voice now. Also, I noticed when I was editing some of my other videos that when that flash of red happens, words happen, and I just didn't notice it before because it flashes by so quickly. So I thought that was a cool little detail. But fuck it. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Mostly because they've gotten too many hopes up to weasel out at first sight of danger, but still. I tap the location's ping's icon on my screen. In less than a second, directions to my destination are staring me in the face. District 2, Way Forward Corporate Autonomous Zone. Blah 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 blah. Administration and Management Complex, level 7. I feel like that blah 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 might have been important info, Rui. Zenith Boardroom. Out of all the rooms in all the buildings Kosuke could have picked, he had to hold the meeting in the one with the kind of security that makes Limnit Skates HQ look like a McRonald's ball pit. As densely packed as the CAZ seems. I'm looking at a tram ride at least 5 minutes. That is if the thing doesn't make any stops. Is this the tram station? It is cool. There's lots of little detail here. On the nice detail ground. I haven't looked at a ground in a while, looking at all the details on it. It's like the little shadow that's happening from these. After a brief walk through the silent night air, I take a seat at the nearest tram station. A minute or two later, I hear the soft hum of an approaching car drifting along magnetic rails. The sudden change in brightness is nearly enough to blind me, but I don't notice until long after I've stepped through the doors. At that point, I'm already moving. What, 150 kilometers per hour? Ooh, inside of it. I've never actually been in one of these. I've seen shows where people have been in one of these. I feel like this looks a bit accurate. The bigger a city gets, the harder it is to keep everything in one place. In a metropolis of millions, engineers have to find a way to accommodate the sheer scale of everyday life, a scale that's constantly expanding. As long as the improvements are purely mechanical, implementing them is seamless. When they're applied to people instead of machines, however, that's when the cracks in the system begin to show. In a city of 40 million, you can make things move as fast as you want. The city will be fine. The people in it, though, not so much. If you're on a train 24/7, you have a fast, reliable way to get downtown. If you're on a person like that, they have a stroke and die. Actually, no. They apply for a job, maybe start a family, work overtime for the chance to get a tax break or a raise, leave their spouse and kids behind to finish their boss's work. More and more often, forget to eat, forget to drink, then, and only then, have a stroke and die. To most people in Isamu, keeping employment high is more important than keeping fatalities from employment low. And yet, in my job, it is to keep people from killing themselves. Whoa, what was that? Okay, I think it just said the same thing, but in a blinky way. Okay. Shoot. Back all the way up. One day, everything I've done is going to mean something. So until that day comes, I'd rather have a fire under my ass than a bullet in my head. As the tram grinds to a halt, I catch a glimpse of 6 security guards outside. I'm not surprised by their presence, given that the administration and management complex is supposed to be the most fortified part of the district.
Hey, who's there?
However, I don't remember them being armed with rifles the size of large dogs. That seems inconvenient to carry around. Just saying. Bit overkill. Depending on how well they're trained, that's either a waste of money or a huge liability. Not that I can be... So, Is this where it's supposed to be? Lost my train of thought for a second. Okay, yeah, there it is. Is this supposed to be asked? Because asked doesn't really fit here. Depending on how well they're trained, that's either a waste of money or a huge liability. Not that I can be asked to do anything beyond pointing it out. Asked makes sense, but asked doesn't. As the door opens, I brace myself for an inevitable confrontation. While I'm fairly certain that I could take a few of them in a fist fight, I'm extremely certain that getting shot in the face would put me at a disadvantage. Stepping outside, I unenthusiastically place both of my hands above my head where they can see them if they need. What they're actually looking for is an excuse to save ammo, but at least our guys do their job quickly. That's more than I can say about the fucking cops. A big day for them is getting to break up a street fight between two junkies with a 22. And even then, they're just glorified bodybuilders who failed law school. Those incompetent dumbasses, see, asses works here, dumbasses probably couldn't even stop a unarmed robbery without a corporate TAC team backing them up. A flash of light catches my eyes. I turn to face it head on and catch the business end of a heavy caliber barrel in response.
Do you mind pointing that thing somewhere else? I'm not here to cause trouble.
The guard briefly hesitates, but lowers his weapon upon seeing the insignia on my lab coat. Good thing he did too. What is that, a drum-fed semi-out of decal? A single well-placed shot from that gun could probably take down an 18-wheeler without too much trouble, as well as anyone unfortunately enough to be standing behind it. Well, it might be par for the course against any kind of powered armor. It's a waste of money in any other situation. Come to think of it, I should really have a word with Kosuke about his spending habits.
Well, you look legit, I'll give you that. Mind telling me what you're doing here?
Name's Dr. Rui Hayada. I'm here to meet with the chairman if he's not busy.
The guard closest to me takes a step back and slowly lowers his weapon, using his free hand to display the office of the pieces stand down signal to the men behind him.
Right then. Please accept our apologies for the cold welcome, Dr. Hayata. Feed's caught a couple of dubious looking fellows poking around the district border. Glad to see you're not one of them.
Not dubious looking fellows. Oh my. The guard stops in front of me, pulling out a compact scanner. Its shiny exterior looks to have been recently wiped down, if used at all.
Whenever you're ready, please turn over your standard issue personal defense modules and place your right index finger on the scanner. Got no reason to think you aren't telling the truth, ma'am, but the system still needs to verify that it's you.
Fair enough.
I hand the guard my stun baton and pepper spray and follow him to the security checkpoint, which appears to be gated by a massive rotary scanner. Once there, I validate my fingerprint and step aside.
Arms
Step
at your side,
inside.
legs together please.
The scanner whirs around me, indicating completion, with a short series of chimes a few seconds later. It appears that I didn't find anything out of the ordinary. Well, either that, or the readings were omitted, formally or not. I'm still with special services, but one less termination is one less termination, so I guess it works either way.
Well, everything looks clean. Feel free to grab your phone, Mom. I'll be sure to let Chairman Saito know you're here.
You mean the glorified paperweight? Like, apparently it does nothing.
Thank you for your compliance.
Thanks for not shooting me.
Yeah, that was very nice of you to not shoot us in the face. The guard smirks at me, gesturing towards the door as a locking mechanism on the other side faintly clicks.
Go right in, Mom.
I send him a quick nod of affirmation, proceeding carefully towards the building. This looks like the psych ward in grayscale. That's okay. Once inside, I glance down at my phone to confirm my destination, ensuring that it complies with the myriad of signs and arrows now in front of me. For a change, the directions are error-free, but that's not what's troubling me. That's not what's tripping me up. Dot dot dot. Everything should be in order. Everything should be fine. So why isn't it? To the typical employee of this corporation, the very notion of being sent to the Zenith boardroom would be unthinkable. Hell, I've seen people who would piss themselves in fear if their bosses ever told them to do so much as keep up the good work. To those kinds of panty wasters, all simply wishing to stand before the directors in their vaunted meetings, in the vaunted meeting place, would undoubtedly be seen as one of the most profane delusions anyone could ever have. if they were unfortunate enough to have their name known by the 13, however, appeasing them would be their primary concern. It would be a concern that took precedence over safety, privacy, family, and health. It might even be a concern that took precedence over their lives. But that's not a privilege I have. In this environment, one where employee purges happen on a daily basis, my primary concern is following the instructions I've been given to the letter. If the chairman wants someone observed, I observe them on his behalf. If the chairman is too deaf to hear what his employees discuss in hushed whispers, I listen to those whispers on his behalf. And if the chairman wants someone out of the picture, I am... See, I know now. I know it says other things. I am authorized in their miserable... I'm trusted to make them disappear. The moment Kosuke needs me for a job, I'm responsible for getting that job done, ethical or otherwise. My survival doesn't depend on me memorizing this corporation's core value or placing my utmost faith in the all-encompassing dogma of the way forward and its tenets of altruistic trans-shamanism. I'm still alive, but that's only so I can continue living in service to a cause I don't believe. Others might see that as a hollow and unfulfilling existence. And fair enough. They're entitled to that opinion as long as they don't use it to endanger anyone else. Personally, I'm not brave enough for that kind of worldview. I'm just grateful that I only have the blood of 2 people on my hands. Unfortunately, it's the kind of blood that's never going to wash off. And depending on how this meeting goes, I may find out that they've been stained. They've been stained by a third. If that happens, it'll be over. There won't be anything left for me. There won't be anything I need to wait for. There won't be anything else for me to look forward to. I won't need to come back to this life. I can end it all. And yet, this life, this God-forsaken life of paranoia and subservience, was one I chose for myself. Nobody else aimed that gun or pulled that trigger. This was something I chose to do, and I only have myself to blame. for where I am now. At the very least, that's what Kosuke would have me believe. The very same man who just summoned me for an emergency meeting I know fucking all about. Is that I know fuck all about? Yep, I know fuck all about. As much as I could ever hope that we're just going to casually go over some spreadsheets, I got a gut feeling that I'm in for the exact fucking opposite. But hope has never solved anything in this world. At least, not as a standalone measure. If you want to solve a problem, you need to be capable of getting just angry enough to actually do something about it. I may get called heartless. I might be called a heartless bitch for doing just that. But to me, that's the highest form of praise anyone could ever receive. My method might not be as cut and dry as they once were. My methods might not be as cut and dry as they once were. But my goals are in the same place today that they have always been. Well, we'll see what Rui's goals are in the next episode. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Bye.